Yo! Welcome, my friends, to the very first episode of the Cybernetic Séance podcast. We don't have a sound machine, so let's just pretend this is at least like 100 people in the studio right now. Woo! 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 Guys, I'm your host, Ryan Laney, aka Ryan Frankenstein. I'm the lead vocalist and founding member of the band Our Frankenstein. And once again, I want to welcome you guys to the very first episode. I had just gotten off a tour a few weeks ago. In case you guys don't know, Our Frankenstein just did a whole US tour with the bands Cyclone 9 and the band 7 Factor. And holy crud, guys, that stuff was a whirlwind. It was a month long across the country. But it was our first ever national tour. And, you know, I'm sure a couple of people who saw us live might be here watching us here today. So hello to everyone and welcome to the family. Welcome to Our Frankenstein and whatever it is. Today, this is like the first time I've ever done anything like a podcast or broadcast or any sort of live related stuff. So thank you guys for tuning in. In case some of you guys do not know, Our Frankenstein released an album a month ago called Hypercult, and it is in fact available on all streaming platforms, major streaming platforms. You can find it anywhere, and yeah, just look it up, and it's there. Spotify, Instagram, iTunes, YouTube. You can tell I haven't done this before. I haven't even put my creepy lighting on. But once again, we did that whole month tour, and boy, was it a whirlwind. In case some of you guys do not know, Our Frankenstein is going back on the road. We got a couple of fall shows in the works, but one announced fall show we have right now is at Club Terminal in Downey, California. It's going to be I believe it's a free show after 10 p.m. And it's us. We're headlining. It's our first headlining show in a while, and we have this really cool act named the Androgen opening up for us. And, you know, it's October 15th. Here's the poster for y'all. Saturday, October 15th. If you guys are SoCal or Los Angeles residents, definitely go there. It's going to be a night to remember, if you catch my drift. And speaking of this show, we actually have the Androgen, who's going to be opening for us that night, here with us tonight. So without further ado, everyone, welcome Vincent from the Androgen.
Oh, hello.
100 people clapping in the studio. Woohoo!
Thank you for having me on your podcast. I really appreciate the love and the shout out. How's it going today, man?
It's going fucking. Ooh, excuse me. It's going beautiful. I'm already breaking my own rules. It's day one of the stream, and I'm already breaking my own rules.
That's what rock and roll is, man. Well, anyway, hey, I appreciate being on this podcast. And you mentioned we have a show with you. And yeah, Downey, California, October 15th. Great venue.
Awesome.
They do a bunch of different goth stuff there.
Yeah, if you guys are a fan of industrial and goth and death rock and all that good stuff, definitely want to come to this show. You know, I mean, the DJs always spin good stuff. You know, besides the bands, the DJs are amazing. You know, Jesus always puts together an amazing show. Club Terminal is just always great. You know, we always
shout out to Jesus. There you go.
Shout out, Mr. Torres. So yeah, shout out Jesus. So in case nobody here knows who you are, Vincent.
Oh yeah.
Tell me what the Androgen is. What is it? Who is it? Why is it? Give us a crash course. Give us something abridged, something quick.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, the Androgen started, I'd say, years ago. I was doing vocal covers in my parents' house, like anyone does as a vocalist. And I had all these songs, and I wanted to create something out of them. And through chance and California, I bumped into an individual named Angel Nightmare at a bar/club. You may have heard of it, called the Whiskey A Go-Go. Me and him started frantically throwing songs together, and we created our first album called Insomnia, and it's out on YouTube right now. Also Bandcamp, I believe. And then we started playing shows. The Androgen is just me throwing together different art and different artists to create a beautiful and destructive message.
That's good. That's a great way to put it.
I've had like 20 members at this point. It's great.
Yeah, you've had quite a few different guys coming in and out over the time.
A lot of good influences, though. It's like a puzzle. You're trying to put together the pieces, and you're getting more and more as you go from, ideas you probably wouldn't have thought of yourself. That's why I love doing this.
So I guess tell us about Insomnia. Like, can you go into more detail about Insomnia? Like, what is the concept or what inspired you?
Well, Insomnia was an album I started writing when I was living with my parents, as I said. I had a lot of different influences and vibes I wanted to portray. Most of them were black metal. I actually didn't listen to that much industrial. And I would walk to the gym every night and I'd write down, some poetry or some notes or something like that. And I came up with this idea of insomnia because I wasn't sleeping. Each song on the album is more or less, I would just say, a phase I went through during that time of my life. Once again, this was something I was trying to get out of the chamber for years. So when it finally came out, it was just great to release that energy, I guess, would be the best way to put it.
Very cathartic, I'd assume.
Yeah, I would say cathartic, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's quite an interesting way to describe it.
Yeah, most of my music... Yeah, sorry. Most of my music, I use myself as my own muse, so I try to dig within how I'm currently feeling to put that out into the music. I don't really do much fantasy.
Is there anything you can tell us about the first single, or the only? I don't know if that was the only single from the record, but you had a lyric video for it. Is there anything you can tell us about that song and what its name is? Okay,
so that song is called Deadlight. And I had just gotten out of seeing the It movie. Okay, so obviously I stole that from the dead lights in It. But I thought it was a really interesting idea to like look into the light and it'd be this like negative, force of nature, because obviously the movie It, which, oh no, copyright, right? But I was at a time where I was seeing all of the lockdowns happen and all that, and I wanted to write something that I thought would touch the normal individual. I didn't really want to write about sex or drugs or, more of the positive aspects. I wanted to talk about, which I say in the song, it's an uphill struggle, So the song is really just my personal thoughts on alcoholism and how the normal individual numbs out to try to cope with society. So I put that lyric video out, and I had, I believe, help from Behemoth from Dawn of Ashes with that lyric video. And wasn't anything super fancy. I just wanted to get what I was talking about out, because I think lyric videos help people just more or less connect with the words more, not just the music.
Easier to digest. Well, yes. With that being said, we're going to play that lyric video on the air right now. So for those of you guys streaming right now, we're about to play Deadlights from the Androgen. Quick disclaimer to those who are a bit squeamish in the audience. This lyric video does have a bit of violent and graphic themes in it. So if those
trigger warning.
Yeah, a little trigger warning there for our listeners or viewers. It's good, but if you guys aren't a fan of surgery, definitely just listen and don't watch, but enjoy nonetheless. This is Deadlights from the Androgen.
Oh, well.
Deadlights from the Androgen. To those who are just tuning in, welcome to the Cybernetic Séance podcast. I'm your host, Ryan from Our Frankenstein, founding member of the band. Today, our guest is Vincent from the Androgen. In case
all.
you guys don't know, we're performing in October 15th at Club Terminal in Downey, California. That's a special show put on by my boy, Jesus Guerrero. Shout out to Jesus once again. Second shout out for the show. He does an amazing job in putting on shows. He's done shows with the two of us, and we're excited to finally come together here in the Los Angeles area to destroy it. Once again, you were just listening to Deadlights from the Androgen. That was a pretty intense video. And said Behemoth from Dawn of Ashes did that one?
Yes. So as you do as a starting musician, you look for others who have been doing it longer to help you with your work because you don't know what you're doing, right? So I went through the Instagram universe and I was looking for people in my, I would call it bubble, and I was working with Angel Nightmare at the time, and he was helping write and produce most of my music. I was doing vocals and also some of the writing, and he had connections to some people in Dawn of Ashes. So I said, okay, do you know anyone who does music, editing for lyric videos? And he said, check out this guy named Behemoth. And I'm like, okay, I'll check this dude out. I shot him the lyrics. I asked him if he could commission some work for me, and he got it done. And honestly, it's more shocking than I would want it to be. But I think it gets the message across perfectly because it draws you in and then pushes you back out. Like, why are you here? And I like that.
I'll say, that bit in the video with the brain surgery, I don't get that squeamish, but for some reason when it comes to brains, I'm just like, ooh. I think it all goes back. Did you ever watch SpongeBob as a kid?
A little bit, yeah.
Did you ever watch that Halloween episode where they wanted to make SpongeBob scary, so they cut away everything except he's got his eyeballs, his nose, his mouth, and he's
like skeleton brain. Bob.
Yeah, his brain is sticking out, and Patrick's like, "Oh, what is that?" He's like, "Oh, that's just my brain." He's like, "Oh."
I vaguely remember that SpongeBob really wasn't something that I was that into, but no, I think that in the Alaskan bullworm episode I've seen.
It's big, hairy, and pink.
It's an Alaskan bullworm, Yeah. But yeah, I definitely don't think the lyric video can be compared to SpongeBob. I would not say, hey kids, watch this video. It's definitely for more of a mature audience. Some of the videos in that lyric video actually were clipped from a Instagram that got deleted and canceled called Santa Monica Problems. And this was during the riots and some of the stuff going on. So I used some of those clips in there. They're just kind of spliced in really fast. I don't know where the surgery videos come from though. That's not me. Yeah. That just showed up in there.
That spooks me out a little bit. Well, speaking of spooky stuff, besides the film It, because you've already kind of mentioned It was a film you saw before you created Deadlights. In general, what would you say is a horror movie that has influenced your music the most?
Well, okay. First of all, for all the viewers, I'm a cinephile. I love movies. I'll watch literally anything. The worse, the better. The more cinematic, the better. I'll watch anything. Now that being
true.
said,
we do talk about movies all the time.
Yeah. I have an addiction. I'm trying to get help. That's a hard question. Let me think. I would definitely say I was heavily influenced by old school Spawn and X-Men. So I would definitely say that my influence definitely comes from Spawn more than anything else. When I was writing, I was watching a lot of Spawn because the idea is, this guy dies for love, comes back, sells his soul, right? And then he's trying to see his wife and he can't, right? And I thought to myself, that's just the most relatable thing that someone could do, self-sacrifice. So I'd say Spawn.
Wanda!
Yeah. And again, it's a black superhero who gets burned alive, and I love the struggle because no one can really tell if Spawn's good or bad. You're like, does he just want to bang his wife or does he love her? What's going on here?
Spawn was Deadpool before the Deadpool hype. You know, it's like a
Yeah.
darker and better. You know, he's the better anti-hero in my opinion. But
Oh yeah.
that's just me.
I mean, Deadpool's funnier though. I'm just, he's just
Yeah,
a
he
big
is
old
funny because you can laugh and sometimes you cry, you know, with the whole wife thing. But it's like Spawn, it's really it's a lot darker, it's a lot more tragic.
Yeah, I mean, they have a better clown than Joker. I mean, that's up to debate, but
you got Sid the Sloth as the clown.
really?
What was that actor's name? I keep forgetting his name. Frank?
I think it's like no, it's not John DiMaggio.
Frank. It was the guy from he plays Sid the Sloth from Ice
I
Age.
can't remember the name. That really pisses me off.
I'm gonna look this up right now.
Yeah, Sid the Sloth. Oh yeah, you got that internets.
Yeah, bro, I am on it. I am on it. We got this. Oh, John Leguizamo.
There we go. Yeah.
Where we got? We got.
Wasn't he the guy who was in John Wick?
I think so.
He's like, you stole John Wick's car? Why you do that? You know what's happening now? He's that guy.
Played, Bruno in that new Encanto movie, and he was also in. God, there's so many movies he's been in that I've seen. I couldn't think his name for some reason.
It's a hard name to remember.
Yeah, he's the clown from Spawn. He's in Tu Wong Fu.
Another good movie that he's in is called Spun. It's a really good movie about addiction. I highly recommend if you want to go down the rabbit hole watching that.
I completely forgot. The absolute classic that he was in was The Pest.
Oh yeah, The Pest.
Yeah, he's like taking the shower and he's singing, you know, that whole intro where he's just going crazy. I love that movie.
Super high energy movie. Yeah.
He reminds me a bit of Jim Carrey. He's a bit of like an animated sort of kind of guy. You know.
Not much like I mean, you definitely have those vibes. The Jim Carrey-esque.
The Jim Carrey face where he goes,
yeah,
out like that. Yeah. Well, you said Spawn.
Yes.
So that's a great influence for your work, but in more terms of horror, like I guess classic horror, what would you
classic
say?
horror? I would have to go with Korean films on that. Probably no one has seen any of these, but I got to give two. I would say the movie I Saw the Devil, which is, I believe, a Japanese or Korean film. I believe it's Korean. If you're squeamish or you can't deal with very harsh psychological themes, not for you. I'd give it a hard R. And also a Japanese film called The Wailing. Both are horror, but I would say I Saw the Devil is more slasher. The Wailing is more psychological horror where you just don't know what's going on. It's more like what is that? The Orphan or Black Phone or something like that.
I haven't seen Black Phone yet. I'm actually I think I'm gonna
see it,
see that
dude.
tonight.
It's good. It's really good. Black Phone is as good as It Part 1.
Do you have Shudder?
I know of Shudder, the streaming service.
Yeah. I just got that the other day. I did a 14 free day trial because the new Guar documentary dropped, and so they have like a whole code where you can get 15 days or 14 days free. And I just got it to watch that movie, but I did not realize how many freaking horror movies are on there. Like
they got some low budget, they got high budget. Yeah, it's good.
The McPherson tape, they're like the OG. I think besides Cannibal Holocaust, like OG, like POV, you know, like handheld camera.
So kind of like a Blair Witch. Never heard of that.
Oh, it's involved. It's like it's so like there's no budget to this movie.
Okay, no budget movie. Got it.
It's basically like this guy's old VHS camera, you know, old ass camera, and you know the aliens don't even look good, but it's scary. Like it's
so it's so bad it's good.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. There's a movie I want to recommend. I can't remember the name of it. It's not Reanimator. That's a famous one. But the idea is it's a zombie movie, and it's something to the grave. And the idea is they're a giant rave, right? And people are doing ecstasy, right? But the ecstasy was made from toxic waste that fell off a truck. So they start doing it, and once you get high, you turn to a zombie that eats brains. And the whole movie is just this rave where everyone's high, like, what's going on? It's like, brains! Like, just cliche. They're not fast. They're not powerful zombies. They're just slow, screaming brains. And it's a funny movie. I can't remember the name, but I'll definitely send it to you.
Yeah, if you find it, let me know. I'm going to see if it's on Shudder. Because Shudder has a lot of good stuff. I mean, speaking of Shudder, I don't know if any of you guys out there are Gwar fans. Oh my goodness, I'm so new to this streaming thing. I did not realize we had comments.
Yeah, there's a whole comment section that's blowing up, man.
Oh my goodness, guys. I didn't even realize we had comments. Yeah, I love you guys too. Max. Mrs. Patton.
Max is awesome. Max supports almost everyone that I know.
Dude, Max is the guy. I mean, in case you guys are living under a rock in the this neo-industrial gothic scene,
the Ryanverse
was the old name. He's now Max, and Max is the guy who I don't know how to describe him, man. He's the keeper of the key. You know,
he supports everyone's acts. He knows of everything going on. The guy's great.
The guy's got an ear to the ground, and that's the most important thing. He knows. I mean, shoot, I used to watch him review some of the music that I put out, and man, he seemed, and you know, he would talk about the songs that I wrote, and he was like, "Oh, I think the song's about this," and I'm like, "Dang, dude, you're spot on." So
he has his finger on the pulse, you know.
100%. 100%. Okay, so I don't know if you've seen it. Back on the topic of horror movies.
Yes.
Have you seen the new Halloween trailer?
The new one, Halloween Ends? Is that the one we're talking about? I saw a bit of it. I shy away from Halloween. It's been redone too many times, thanks to Rob Zombie. But
oh boy, oh God! Now you got me on a different side. I want to hear everyone.
The Munsters. Have you seen it?
I want to get the public consensus here. And Hale is my top. Thanks, Cody. You're the fucking best. I want to get everyone's opinions, because in case some of you guys do not know, Rob Zombie is now releasing his own version of the Munsters. And I'm sure most of you guys have grown up with the Munsters to some degree. And, you know, I obviously it's a mixed opinion. From what I have gathered online, 70% of it, maybe 85% of it is negative. And I'm going to be honest, guys. I saw that first trailer, and I was like, the editing, man. I mean, it's a trailer. You know, trailer's a trailer, but
yeah. I mean, Rob Zombie's doing great, though. I mean, the budget they gave him was like $40 million or something like that. So, like, I mean, I don't see it in the editing yet, but I mean, maybe this was a very raw trailer he put out to be on time, and the entire thing has a higher budget, and this was just a kind of like, okay, put something out, man. We got to do it now, you know.
That's what I'm thinking, because I saw their DVD teaser that they put out, and the audio was good. The pacing of the trailer was good. I actually had no complaint. I'm personally excited to see. I forget his name, but the new guy they have is Grandpa. At first, I wasn't keen on the mustache, but I like him. I like how they gave him his like East Coast sort of like, let me whip up a hubby for you in the lab sort of thing going on, and like, I liked that. You know,
have you seen the show? It's like What Happens in Shadows or something. It's a TV show about vampires that recently came out, and it reminds the Munsters. Yes, the Munsters lighting reminds me of that show. Just that kind of like weird neon dragon sci-fi lighting, and I'm like, okay, Rob Zombie, you went away from grays and blacks and blood, and you're trying to pop it up, El Super Obisto style.
Yeah, I like the colors. You know, I know like Lords of Salem and like a lot of his other movies, Devil's Rejects was like very like
dark,
saturated kind of colors. Well, Devil's Reject was just a desert, so it's like
it was Arizona basically, man. Yeah. Oh, by the way, for people who don't know, I live in Arizona, so it's like I'm sweating here. I'm loving it.
I'm loving it.
Desert, man. My life is Devil's Rejects, except for less killing. no killing at all.
Max says it was a bad edit on the trailer, but maybe it's a weirdo version for Netflix. I don't know, man. Yeah, bro. I think the thing is, there's a part of me that thinks Rob will actually do this well, because for anyone who is a Rob Zombie fan or knows anything about Rob Zombie, the Munsters is his bread and butter. You know, that is his life right there. And so, to me, objectively thinking, it wouldn't be smart to butcher a franchise that you've worshipped so much. I mean, he's grown up with it just like every one of us, you know.
Yeah.
You know, when I grew up as a kid, I didn't have cable. You know, I didn't have the internet. I didn't have cable. So we watched Leave It to Beaver, Munsters, and a bunch of cowboy crap. You know, that was my childhood. So the Munsters is really near and dear to my heart. So there's a part of me that's kind of like, I hope, you know, I think this could be good. You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure Rob Zombie personally isn't there editing the trailer and effing it up, you know, on purpose. And I don't think that's his job. So, I mean,
Ryan, I do rebut that in one way. Netflix has been putting out some stinkers recently. I don't want to talk negative, but they've been taking franchises that we all love, for instance, Cowboy Bebop and Resident Evil, and they're like, you know what we need? We need to make this a CW show. You remember the CW?
Yes, but what I'll have to say is that this isn't a Netflix exclusive. This is being put out through the direct-to-video chain or whatever subsect of Universal.
Okay, so it might be dodging that.
Yeah, so actually, the Munsters is going to be out on DVD before that it comes to Netflix. I think it comes to Netflix like a whole month later.
Okay.
So,
I mean, he has control over it, so.
So I've got my hopes. I just
fingers crossed.
I'm excited for Grandpa. I like how Herman is the caveman from the old Geico commercials.
Oh shit! Okay.
Lily. Okay.
He keeps casting his wife.
Look, I mean, I get it, right? Like they both love the characters, you know, very much, and I'm like, you know, I mean, I love Herman Munster, but would I?
It's part of their marriage agreement. He's like, okay, honey, we're married to death do us part, but you're gonna be the star in every movie, okay? Every movie. That's what it is, man.
Yeah, it's just
she's a great actor sometimes.
Hey, I love Herman Munster, but I'm also 5'7", and I don't think I'd ever be able to be the guy to cast as Herman Munster. I'm just saying, but you know, reading the comments here, it's over 100 degrees in Oregon. Sheesh!
God damn!
Gosh darn! Cold basement. I'm in my garage here. Actually, I'm in a makeshift set here. I'm using my webcam. Hopefully, the next episode I'll have a better camera setup. But this is
what you do in your free time. The little OnlyFans setup, buddy, with the green light.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, I guess my next question, back on the topic of music.
Yes.
You released Insomnia. You had your single. You did a couple shows.
Yeah.
What was after that? Did you have another album or EP to come after that?
Well, before we get to that, I want to talk about the shows. I did, I believe, 2 different shows. And both of those shows were wonderful. One was at the Downey, California location, in which I'm doing the show with you. And that was just a nice venue. Everyone there is great. The venue's a small little area. They got pool tables. It's great. The other venue, sadly, that I played at, my first show was at a place called the Institute of Abnormal Arts. It's in the Valley. It's crazy. If you look up that place, they had there's a guy from Ripley's Believe It or Not. He's like a clown who wanted to be buried in a public place. So they have like a real body in like glass there. It's just a great venue, but sadly that place recently closed. So, you know, that's something. Yeah, it sucks. The guy there is awesome. The venue is awesome. So I just wanted to throw that out. That place is awesome. You know, before it gets torn down, if you're in California and you're interested, go see that place.
I've seen some pretty interesting shows there. Last time I was there, I think it was my birthday a year ago, last July, actually. And my friend Lillian Sin, she was putting on like a a mad tea party event, and it was cool. Outside there was like freak shows and sword swallowing. Inside you had like your alternative bands playing, and I mean it's an interesting interesting vibe in there. I would say like when I first walked in there, the first time I was there, I felt like I was in that because there's like a weird tiki element there.
Yeah.
Eastern sort of tiki thing going on. And the first time I was walking in there, I felt like I was in Singapore from the Pirates of the Caribbean 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like bamboo, but it was like kind of like rickety. Everything was like, it was creepy.
The incense,
like
though, man. You walk in, you smell that incense, and you're like, oh, this is going to be an interesting place. A little seance going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, sad it's gone, man.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, tons of places in LA are going down.
The Viper Room, right?
Yeah, Viper Room is going down. We only played there once, a couple months before we went on tour, so we're a little bummed about that. But tell me about your next record. What came after Insomnia?
Well, after Insomnia, the album that I released was Words Are Better Than Knives. I believe that's the album name. God, my brain's not working. Yeah, that's the album. And what happened there was that was me wrapping up my contract with Angel Nightmare. And me and him had written these songs that we thought were too good for Insomnia, but we didn't know what to do with them. So what we did is we went back into the studio and we started banging out the whole process, going in there, having a few beers, doing the whole thing. Tracked some vocals, and then we started getting this new sound we really liked. It was this fusion of industrial and deathcore, whereas the first album is more just ideas being thrown around. I then decided to shoot the album cover myself. My girlfriend, Athena, indefinitely undefined on Instagram, she does a bunch of modeling, dancing, etc. So we got drunk one night, as all my inspiration is coming from here, and threw some paint on her. And I'd seen another band use food coloring, so we, started throwing it in her mouth, spitting it everywhere. And then we took this photo in the bathtub, and I thought to myself, "This is stupid. This isn't gonna work, right?" And then I remembered one of my other influences, a band called Shining from, I believe, Sweden. And they have an album cover similar, but it's black and white. And I was like, you know what? What if I do green? What if I do something grimy, And so that became the cover, and we released, I believe, 3 songs for that album. Denialist, Colorless World, and there's one on there that's just a demo I threw together, which the name I can't remember, honestly. But
Numb, the Blind, the Cold, or something like that?
The Numb, the Cold, yeah. That was me just unedited, really, with a little echo on, screaming to some industrial riff. And I thought it was good, so I was like, why not just put it on here? Who cares? It's my art, Yeah. So we did that.
It's all art at the end of the day. So
yeah,
in a little bit here, I'm actually going to play the music video for the song Denialist.
Okay, awesome.
Is there anything you can actually tell us about that song, like specifically about the song?
Well, first of all, there's no dissections in the song. And second of all, it is more of a collaboration. It was wonderful to shoot it because we worked with you and I believe Brandon?
Yeah, we had Brandon Borja as the videographer and editor for that one.
So the thing that's awesome about Denialist is I wanted to make it very authentic because I wanted to get into character because I love acting. So we went to my hometown where I grew up in Culver City, California, and I took the whole crew to one of the music studios that I used to record at. Well, practice studio I used to record and practice at. And we shot some scenes there. And then afterwards, we walked around Culver City, the downtown section, which, if you're in LA, check out Culver City's downtown. It's really nice to go on dates there, hang out, etc. But we shot a lot of the scenes there. Ryan was a completely different character at that time. It was awesome. And, it was just an experience of how I think music videos should be shot. Very unclinical, very let's do this, a lot of vodka, and some hidden locations. Oh, some hidden locations, which I don't know where they are to this day, so I can't tell you if I wanted to.
I'll give some information for the folks at home.
Oh yeah.
So, from what he told you, yeah, we shot a lot of it in Culver City, but there's an undisclosed location where we shot the performance bits, and basically there was this there was this abandoned, let's say it was an arcade slash what mini golf area.
Mini golf, yeah.
It's a booming good time. No pun intended. And anyway, it was completely abandoned. And while we were shooting there, because I directed this video and I acted in some of it, I actually play a character in this music video. While we were doing this, we had an interaction with a homeless dude because he was actually walked in on our set as we were filming. Because if I'm mistaken, we might have been recording in his bathroom. Because I did find some freshy looking droppings.
As Johnny Depp would say, some fecal matter.
She had left some fecal matter in the bed. And yeah.
I think we had too many mega pints that night.
I had a mega pint that night. You had a couple of mega pints. I was okay. I was once we got into the undisclosed location, you were a little, which was great for shooting you because you were horrifying in all those shots.
Yes. I have a drinking problem.
No, it's not what I'm saying. But without further ado, so you guys can know what I'm talking about. Here, you know what? Why don't you introduce this next video, Vincent?
This next video is Denialist, the thing in which we are talking about. Run it, Ryan.
Self-destroy, you're a plaything. Die! Step around the bend. Stumble to your end. Pick it up again. Your only friend. Alone and got around the bend.
Everyone is alone. Everyone's empty. We don't really need each other anymore. With so much at our fingertips, we can find a spare for any talent, any item, any piece of knowledge, any relationship can be replaced with a simple search and a click. I'd become bored of a world like that.
Wow, that's really creepy.
I know, right? So, how is it to work as a character in a film? How was that?
Well, folks, let me tell you my experience.
I don't have a green light. I can't do that.
Well, when Mr. Vincent here had asked me to be a part of the music video, he originally wanted me to direct. I mean, that was the first thing he wanted me to do was, try my hand at directing. For those of you who do not know, I actually do a lot of videography and like directing on the side as a kind of a novice or whatever. I'm no Steven Spielberg, but I like to try my hand at things.
Not yet. You're not.
Not yet. I haven't worn his skin yet. But when he asked me to do that, he also had asked me, he's like, "Oh, do you want to play this character? I need a guy to be sort of this addict character." The song is about, I mean, he was like the perfect symbol for the song, this fiending addict sort of guy, I mean,
wandering the streets looking for drugs.
And if you can tell, he's wearing a suit, he's dressed nice. It looks like he had just got fired from his job at the office or something. And that's sort of
typical American who's, just trying to get by in the rat race was kind of the idea. Exactly. So is the blonde hair real for everyone who doesn't know?
The blonde hair was real. I like to watch Blade Runner, so I was pretending to be Roy. Fur says, "Stop being so modest. I can make you some skin." Fur, make me a recreation of Steven Spielberg's flesh, so I can wear it and sleep in it at night, and it can keep me warm. Shout out,
call that movie Cocoon.
Shout out Fur, the keyboard player for 7 Factor. To those who didn't watch the broadcast at the beginning, we did a whole month-long tour with those guys and Cyclone 9, and it was wild. And I believe those guys are actually about to go around the United States again. So
yeah,
definitely go check that out when the States come out more.
I got to see 2 of those shows, and everyone was awesome. I didn't get to meet everybody, sadly, but the show was awesome. I got to see you guys in Mesa, Arizona, and also at Bar Sinister in Hollywood, California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was a good tour, man. It was fun, and it was really cool hanging out with all those guys. So, I'm hoping to go back out on the road with those guys at some point soon. So
Fat Life.
I loved Fur. I loved John. I loved Seven, of course, and Jonathan, of course. So all those guys were great. Yeah, Fat Life. Even Fat Life. I think I got to still reply to his text message. I think he sent me something I forgot to reply to.
Oh, yeah.
Just walk up and say hi, bro. Listen to Fur. Yeah, it was. Well, we're getting towards the tail end of the stream. We're not there yet, folks.
Oh, God. You're going to have to leave all this attention.
Oh, no, not yet. Not yet. Do not worry. Do not fret. But, I want to thank you guys. Those who are here watching the first time I've ever done anything like this. It's not something I'm used to, but I've always wanted to do. And those who have tuned in late, in case you guys don't know, you could see us, the 2 of us together on the same stage for one night only in October 15th. On October 15th. Don't worry, grammar's not a thing. At Club Terminal in Downey, California. Yeah, we're playing at Club Terminal, Downey, California. That's right, folks. Our Frankenstein and the Androgen. And this is put on by Mr. Jesus himself, who I realized I said his last name wrong earlier and got him confused with one of my best friends. But that's okay. Folks, this is the show that's happening. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be we're going to be playing a longer set. We're going to have a little bit more production on the stage since we don't normally do headlining shows.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
More of our stuff on the stage. So what that means, some spooky screams and spooky stuff. It's going to be a good show.
Oh, yeah. Well, you've sold this like
drummer, Ryan. That is correct, Max. Actually, For those of you guys who don't know, Matty Corvin was my drummer on this last tour. He actually took the place for my drummer, Jimmy, who had some health issues. So he was taking care of himself, and Matty actually took his place while we were on the road. And who killed it, by the way. And
Spoiler for those guys next week. Maddie's actually going to be my guest next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
On this
You
show.
have an all-star cast. That's what's happening here.
That's right, folks. We are getting to the tail end of this show here, so we're going to be closing down pretty soon. But I didn't want to leave without asking Vincent here one more question.
Yes.
Aside from horror, aside from, we'll consider Spawn superhero, who is your favorite villain, and has he influenced your character or persona in any way?
My favorite
Doesn't have to
villain
be
is
movies, by the way. It can be a book or a video game.
oh yeah, you're gonna be surprised by this one actually. My
Okay.
favorite villain is Lucas Hood from Banshee.
I'm not surprised because I've started watching the show now. It makes sense.
I mean, you don't think of him as a villain, but if you just step back from the morality for a second, you're like, oh, he's a fuck. Excuse my language.
For
Yeah.
you guys don't know what we're talking about. The show Banshee. It's got like 4 seasons. Really great show.
It's on par with The Boys because the main
Hold
actor
on.
is.
We're going to take a quick break here. Oh, no, never mind. I thought my phone was thinking it was going to Forget what I just said, folks.
And he's disappeared into the void.
No, here I am. I'm back. I was just fixing some stuff.
Oh, no.
Something was going on. Well, that's how we're going to close the show here tonight. Thank you, Vincent.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No, I'm lucky to have you guys. Tune in next week at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we're going to do the Cybernetic Séance podcast one more time. Next week's guest is Maddie from Corvin's Breed. Thank you guys again for tuning in. And as we're closing out, Vincent, you want to give us some plugs for you to follow you on social media?
Yeah,
at home?
the Androgen, at the Androgen on Instagram. My YouTube is the Androgen. If you want to see any of those music videos that were shown, they're on YouTube. Just search either Denialist, the Androgen, or Deadlight, the Androgen. Yeah, thank you all for supporting underground music and industrial, and I hope to see you guys soon at the show. Thank you for the opportunity.
Once again, October 15th, we're playing at Club Terminal in Downey, California. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Cybernetic Seance podcast. I was Ryan. This was Vincent. Tune in next week. We'll see you guys soon.
Peace.